I'm holding up an image painted on the free radical surface by a colleague, Patrick McCormick, and he sent me this, which is not finished. It will still be mounted in a particular way, and he sent me another one, another version I'm holding up. They will look quite interesting once they've gone through the free radical process. I just thought I'd bring this up briefly. And I've said about making a painting that, and not just a painting, I think this is relevant. I'm reflecting on having to mount this and proceed with my process, the free radical process. And what I've said was that a work, something that I present to the world, someone else, manages its impact by its delivery and its very substance. It's what it is that you're looking at, like the material, the dexterity of use of material. It's not the subject. It's not what a lot of people like to call the truth. The truth. And in this time that we're in, what we're struggling with is, if we look around, there is enormous destruction. And this is unequivocal. I'm not making this up. You can just research the massive die-offs in the Pacific Ocean. This is occurring right now, and I'm thinking making this series of paintings based on the free radicals, cooperating with a colleague, Patrick McCormick. And I thought about the idea, and as I listen to certain people on YouTube occasionally, what I've actually realized through my own process of making a painting, that the delivery is as connected to the truth, what is perceived to be subject or truth. And this delivery, what I call this delivery, what it is that I'm aware of in my own process, is probably, and I'll say probably, I'm convinced it is, but I'll say probably, in my opinion, contains the essence and the greatest value for us. And I think you'd have to experience this. It's easier with music because you're subjected to it without many barriers. There are only our own psychological and emotional barriers. And I'm going to just play this thing by Emerson. I'm not sure if you can, Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's from an audio book, and it's an essay on intellect. And I like Emerson. I'm not that familiar with Emerson. I'm getting caught up on Emerson. And I want you to hear this.
Logic is the procession or proportionate unfolding of the intuition, but its virtue is as silent method. The moment it would appear as propositions and have a separate value, it is worthless. In every man's mind, some images, words, and facts remain without effort on his part to imprint them, which others forget. And afterwards, these illustrate to him important laws. All our progress is an unfolding, like the vegetable bud. You have first an instinct, then an opinion, then a knowledge, as the plant has root, bud, and fruit.
Now, I'll just stop here. There is more. You can catch this. These audiobooks are. Now, what's interesting is that Emerson recognizes what he calls instinct. And I think instinct precedes, in his formulation, the idea of logic and knowledge, that we proceed through our experiences primarily based on an instinct. And this is not to that whole thing about what's your gut feeling. Well, gut feeling may be right and wrong, but it is a practice of this instinct that establishes what I see in other artists' work, why I feel the art is so crucial in creating, even more than truth, some process that we can actually attach ourselves to that is more important than what people are going on about and trying to find the truth. And I wholeheartedly agree with anyone that exposes the bastards who are actually creating this destruction on having lied, which is opposite to truth. I believe we're in a destructive phase of this development, and nuclear is at the heart of this destruction, have no doubt. This has been proved, and to think otherwise, that the victims, the cancer victims, if you look through the history of studies that have been done on the effects of radiation on biology, how can there be any doubt? Well, here's where the doubt comes in. That as truth elevates itself beyond the instinct, or what I actually would call an even a priori, a much more fundamental part to our nature, which is our connection to this mystery, which is not based on intellect. Intellect is a component. The knowledge we develop is a component. The expertise we develop is a component. But we have something much more fundamental, which is what I always refer to is we are not just examples of consciousness like all other matter in the universe, I suspect, everywhere, but we have a significant addition to consciousness, which I call conscience. And conscience is rooted in instinct, and it's rooted in a delivery. So my thought is that the truth we say, we understand, is as rooted. Let me even put it this way. The priority or the a priori to truth is conscience. There is no truth without conscience. And if our motives are impure from that point of view, and impure sounds a little highfalutin, I guess, but if we cannot find this within ourselves and somehow communicate and deliver this notion of conscience through instinct even. I like that. This is why I like the art. But it's even before the instinct. There is this primordial element that connects us to this mystery, which should not allow us a delivery that undermines the very principle of why we're alive in the first place. So Emerson, yes, has a notion of intellect, and he'll go through in a very profound and elaborate and intellectual manner. But what I like is he attached the idea of knowledge to instinct, which is very important. And I would go further than that. Through my own understanding of my own art process, which is the free radicals that I talk about, that we are actually tied to this mystery through something that I prefer to call conscience. And when we abdicate, it goes haywire. No matter how much truth you have, your ship is going to sink on this. Truth will not float our ship. Life is not predicated on truth. Life is predicated on conscience and what I say to do the right thing. And when you're not doing the right thing, and whatever it is, your method, your delivery method, you better have a reality check and a heart check on this one. And I will elaborate some more on this because I'm just preparing to mount these pieces, and I realize that it is primarily in the delivery, what I've understood, how to deliver a topic, how to deliver the materials in a way that are elegant, unique, original even, and prescient to the idea of truth or knowledge. But I don't care about truth and knowledge if I have the first part of it sorted out. And nuclear is a destructive force in the cosmos. Have no doubt about it.